Well, I'm a little bit impressed. I have all the students looking at me, and so I'm gonna start talking. Yeah. So my work is Noctambule. It's a work I studied back in 2013, and I started to explore the streets of Port-au-Prince, my city, and I started to discover the street myself because I was raised in a family where it's complicated. Everything is like you have to be careful all the time, insecurity and this. So in my adulthood, I started to explore myself, and then I heard about LGBT parties, queer parties, and I was very thrilled because I didn't know that it exists for myself, and as part of the community as well. So I wanted to discover. I was curious, so I started to go and explore, and then it wasn't obvious to take photos because it was more underground parties, so people didn't want to show their face, and so from time to time, so I get people get more comfortable with me, and I was able to photograph to gain that the how do you say that? Anyway, so people get comfortable, and so my work is I studied in 2013, so it grows, and if you go to the photos, you will see, you may notice that people get more comfortable now. People want to be photographed. People want to show their face. People are more, and we have social media, TikTok, and this. So more people are out in Haiti, and we have gay bars now, and so it's very. You see the change. That doesn't mean it's something that we, as if something that we have to say that well, it's everything is done or no. We have still have to fight for rights, for acceptance, or for respect. And so photography is also a medium that help to so people can be more sensitive because they see faces, they see situations. So there is, it's not just stories with words, but there are images, there are videos. So it's really a way to sensibilize the public. And so my work is really around that. So and my work is really about the freedom to be myself, freedom to show what I want to show, love what I want to love, and freedom to exist, period. I remember I used to have workshop, and the thing was complicated when it comes to, hey, which story should I pick? And my friend already took the story that I like, and it's great. So what do I do? So I don't have a specific advice, but it's important to do what you like and what really interests you. And the other thing too, you can decide to photograph this bridge, for instance. I'm sure each one of you will have its own way to show it. So it doesn't matter that you have like the same subject, like maybe it's something about the police, or it's something about hospital or nightlife or whatever it is. You can have the same subject, but each one has his own, their own sensibility, and it should be fine too. So there is no boundaries. There is no, you go and that's you. It's like writing. People have written things about the same subject for decades, and each is like they have their own sensibility.
How did you get into photography?
I get into photography really, I would say I didn't know I would be a photographer until I get into it. I was encouraged by friends, and that was social media. Back in the days, it was Facebook. And so I started to get messages, people telling me I should go for it. And I think what was very decisive, there are two things: that I had professional photographers that saw my work and telling me it was great. I think that gave you confidence. And then I followed that workshop, and that was the first workshop. And right away, I had an exhibition, and that exhibition is still traveling. So that's how I started. And I wouldn't tell you, I wouldn't say that I was always confident, that I knew that my photography was good or whatever. No, it took me time to look, to consider. So sometimes you take photos, you leave them, and they're gonna have their life, And after you can consider, I never delete photos because I discover new aesthetic, new ways to show, new way to connect. And photos too, it's like it's also your story, how you see things. It's very personal, so I don't erase memories. Sometimes, yes, you lost a hard drive. It's really crazy, but I don't erase. And always I discover photos after 5 years, 10 years. Oh, that wasn't that bad. But at the time, maybe I was too close to the subject, so I couldn't appreciate. So it's really important to keep your thing, you know. And sometimes you have photos just for yourself. It doesn't matter if you don't show, if you don't share with people. It doesn't matter. But you have them. It's important. And sometimes you don't have to take photos. Sometimes you have to look. It's important to live the moment too, so you understand more what you are photographing or your environment. Sometimes there are situations where you can't photograph, but it's inspiring. Maybe you will reproduce something that is quite similar. So the scene is everywhere. This is a scene. So maybe someone is, he is taking it. So, so there is always something around, and don't stress about it because it's your story. It's the way you write. So, and you are learning too. So it's normal to be imperfect, and I'm still learning.
How do you start a project? Like, how do you do the preparation?
Well, the subject, I would say my subject, the way I work is very, I would say personal, and it's really linked to my own, the way I discover things, what was taboo for me at a certain time, and then I'm like, I have to go and see. My first project was on voodoo, and I was raised in a very Protestant family, very formal, and they are still against voodoo. For instance, I remember the first time I went to a voodoo ceremony, I was scared, and really like people would kill me or whatever. And then I discovered the ambience, the music, and the history behind it. And I started to like it, and I started to photograph people, and I see how the philosophy behind it, the respect. And so that was my first subject. And after I focused on the nightlife, and it's the same thing. When I was younger, I couldn't go out at night, and it was very complicated because of many reasons, but parents' reasons. And I started to discover the nightlife, and I heard about queer parties, and I was like, what? Queer parties, Port-au-Prince, underground parties. So I started to explore, and it was very interesting for me because at the time I was like a shy guy, not really out or whatever. And through those parties and meeting people, I started to be more comfortable with myself and starting to take photos and discovering, things. And it was really like I was taking photos, but it was also helping me to build my own personality, my own confidence. So the subject came to me that way. It's very personal. This one, this one is taken by Pierre-Michel Jean, and that work is a focus on voodoo, but the dress, the way people dress in voodoo, their aesthetic. There is this one and the one that is behind it. That's the same photographer, Pierre-Michel Jean. We are three sharing the booth. I At first I didn't give myself any pressure like I'm a representative of my culture. But I know everything I'm showing, they will see the Asian in me as well. And how I'm showing it, how I respect the subject, or how I dare as well. And the thing is, I don't put myself in a box that exactly that I have to be, or I have to show Haiti a certain way, or to make things look good or whatever. But to be real with myself, and also that's the love of my country too, because that's where I live. That's my culture. That's family. So that's how I represent it. And if you go my page, you'll see it's very like there is nightlife, there is daytime. It's very very various photos, and I don't really give myself that pressure, but I know I'm conscious about it. That yes, people go into my page. That's a way for them to see Haiti, and even here when I'm here, that's a Asian photographing New York, for instance. Excuse me. I come for Photoville. I was in well, I live in Haiti, and I had an exhibition in Belgium, and then I come here for Photoville, and I have family in the city as well. We Asian, we have a big I would say the diaspora is very the diaspora. Are you familiar with that word? That I mean, people living outside of the country. So yes, we have a big community, and especially New York, Miami, and Chicago. So I came for to visit family as well, and I really love the city. I can't. Yeah, I really well. I really love Brooklyn, and the bars. You can walk, you meet people, and it's a way too to because nowadays IT is there's a lot of pressure, so it's a way also to disconnect, to see other things, to be more, easygoing life. It's always good, just like you, maybe you're all over, you've come from all over the states, so coming here might be like a disconnection that might be, you see new things, you meet new people. It should be always good for yourself, so you open more. Now I'm still working on the Noctambule series, and I have a nude series that I'm working on, and then I'm working on different projects for my future photo book. So that's what I'm on now. I focus mostly on the queer community, and I'm part of the community. I'm part of it. I'm very vocal about it. My work as an activist aspect. So that's my main focus. And it's always like, it's a growing community. So there are always something to see, something to share. Yeah. Excuse me? At first, it wasn't obvious to photograph the community because most of the people they are not out, or IT can be, complicated. So I gained the respect, or the confiance. I keep forgetting that word. Um, I gained the respect from time to time, so people let me photograph them. So there is a lot of portraiture in my work, the nightlife. So it's a mix of showing ambience and portraits. The other thing too, I during the night I don't use the flash because sometimes the flash can be aggressive. So I'm like, no, no flash. And it's also I love the aesthetic of no flash because you're really into the ambience, into what is happening, the colors, the tone. So I'm really navigating with a camera without flash. So people don't feel, you know, for the this month, well, I'm here navigating the city. Just I just came and going to places, galleries, seeing your work. Sometimes, as photographers, it's important to, the camera is like, so you have to, just like a writer has to read, so he can write. A photographer has to, sometimes you put the camera aside and then you cultivate, and it's not like you have to see all the photo exhibition. No, you can go see painting, see sculpture, because that's a way to open yourself to see new narrative, to discover. So you get new things. So it's important too. Sometimes you open your eyes. It depends. I'm really into ambiance. So I take photos, like it depends on where I am. So sometimes a face can be, I see that face, I'm like, oh, I want to capture this. But sometimes it's a moment, and after you take all everything, so you consider what you like, or sometimes you take something is good, and then you're like, when you're home, you're like, no, that was a feeling, but not everything. And sometimes you don't consider, so you need time to you need sometimes I have photos that I need like 5 years to reconsider and say, oh, that wasn't that bad. So it's really important to keep your images, and after they will have their life. So thank you guys. It was really great.